Hey guys, welcome back to the Inside the Rays podcast. There's been a lot of baseball going on, World Baseball Classic, spring training games. How you doing, Ethan?
Jake, I'm doing absolutely unbelievable, baby. Nothing better than coming back from the gym and being able to flip on an 8 o'clock game of WBC baseball. Arguably better than it was a few years ago. We've already seen some walk-off home runs, and we've already seen our guys, Junior Caminero, Griffin Jacks, Jonathan Aranda, just go absolutely crazy already. So it's been nice to see, and you could argue it's been better than the one a few years ago.
100%. I mean, you talked about the walk-off home runs before this WBC. There hadn't been any. To see two in the same week was absolutely electric. And we're going to talk about Aranda and Junior and all the other guys later in the episode. First, we're going to talk about the spring training games that have been happening recently. Today, the Rays played the Twins. Steven Matz threw 4 scoreless innings. You were there, Ethan. How'd you think he looked?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it before we started recording. Just filled up the zone. That's going to be Steven Matz's game. He was in the 99th percentile in walk rate, 67% strikes today. Not a lot of whiffs. We were also talking about it before the episode, too. A lot of pitching to contact today. And then I think the last 3 out of the 5 batters he was able to put away via the K. But the fact that he was able to go out there, work the sinker, work the changeup, had 13 pitches split apart between 7 sliders and 6 curveballs, and was even working on some back pick stuff with Taylor Walls at second base. So filling up the zone, getting a lot of chase, 43% chase on the day. And just an overall encouraging outing for Steven Matz.
100%. It's been interesting to see how his arsenal has changed a little bit. He's throwing a little more sliders, more changeups, less curveballs, less fastballs. So obviously he's starting now. Last year he's in the bullpen, so he's going to have to change his arsenal a little bit. So it's been interesting to see that. Next guy we're going to talk about is Jake Fraley. He's been absolutely raking this spring. He had a 402-foot double today, 106 off the bat, I believe. Ethan, you were there. How'd you see that happening?
I mean, Joe Ryan has arguably one of the best fastballs in Major League Baseball, and he served one right down the middle to Jake Fraley. I think we're just going to be calling him Rake Fraley by the end of the episode and starting the season. He's been absolutely insane in spring. I know we're going to talk about him in the games we're going to recap after this one, but he's looked very, very impressive. Even when he's not absolutely smoking the baseball, he's just putting together good ABs, working good counts, working favorable counts. And the swing right now looks absolutely money. And going up against Joe Ryan and almost smoking one out of the yard, I thought it was gone off the bat. It's been a very encouraging spring for him.
100%. Another newcomer the Rays recently signed this offseason or traded for, Gavin Lux. He played his first game today. He got a hit. How'd you see him today?
Yeah, just same kind of thing. Just some good ABs. It was nice to see, as Kevin Cash calls him, Luxy, go in there and just take some good ABs, gets the first hit out of the way. Turned actually a really nice double play with Taylor Walls that I wasn't able to get on video. But just get your first hit out of the way. You're going to be seeing a lot of double plays turn between those two. So it was just another encouraging day.
Absolutely. A couple other guys we're going to be talking about. Ryan Velotti. He just continues to put hard contact, good at bats. I know you were really impressed with one of his at bats today.
Yeah. Out of all the games I've gone to, there's guys that aren't going to have good ABs every single day. Ryan Velotti almost once a game puts together a competitive at bat. Had a game tying RBI single the other way. Has consistently been smoking balls in the air too. And I hope he does make the team, right? Like we've talked about the profile a few episodes ago. Even if it's not with the Rays, I really hope that a team is able to give him some everyday run rate because the track record, the quality of contact, and some of the stuff in the spring has been very encouraging. And just another day where he's coming off the bench, by the way, and putting together a good AB to tie the game.
Absolutely. Speaking of hard contact, another guy who hits the ball really hard, Xavier Isaac. I think he's been really impressive this spring. Just consistently puts up good at-bats. He's drawn a couple walks the last few days. So what are your thoughts on him, Ethan?
Yeah, I think I've seen him play 3 times now. He's not getting pitches to hit. So I would say the most impressive thing right now is arguably the eye. Like we've seen the high walk rates in the minors, but the fact that Xavier Isaac is going to the plate, he knows right now, especially when he's facing some of the double A and single A guys that are, older and they're trying to get some roster spots or get promoted or have a good spring showing, they're not throwing him strikes. So he's working walks, and the rare pitches that he is seeing in the zone, he is hitting them hard. A 105.3 mile an hour single, drew a walk. I think in his spring debut, it was the same thing. It was like 108 mile an hour single with a walk. So good plate discipline, drawing walks, hitting the ball hard, and it's just nice to see Xavier Isaac healthy on a baseball field. That's ultimately, I think, the best thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, especially coming after that scary brain injury he had.
Yeah.
So it's great to see. So that's all we got for that game. We're going to talk about yesterday's game, the Tigers game. There's a lot to like in that game. First, we got to talk about Carson Williams. He had 2 hard hit balls off Framber Valdez. One to lead off the game was 109 off the bat. It was a double down the line. He just looks absolutely locked in at the plate, and that's really all we could ask for coming into camp here.
Yeah, I mean, you just, I think it was a great little transition right there. 109.2 off of, I mean, you would say one of the best left-handed starters in Major League Baseball. Follows it up with a 102.9 mile an hour single. And oh, yeah, he's going to line out. It's still going to be 101 miles an hour. The plate discipline looks improved than what we saw last spring. I think the chase rate or the whiff rate was over like 50%. He was just kind of all over the place. I was going to post it today, but I ended up, we just ended up talking about it between ourselves. He just looked very good. Almost a 95 mile an hour average exit velocity, a hard hit rate approaching 69%. The whiff rate's gone from like around 50% to 30%. He's only had a few Ks. K rate's at 19%. I get it's a 21 plate appearance sample size, but the fact that you're seeing better swing decisions, really hard contact. We already talked about the Garrett Crochet ABs that he had earlier in the spring. We saw them last year in the regular season and in the spring last year. I think Carson Williams deserves to be on the roster. What else does he really need to do? Some of the holes in the profile are going to be there, but if you see them improve, I just like what we're seeing from the 22-year-old right now.
I fully agree, man. It's going to be interesting to see how that shortstop battle shakes out. The next guy we're going to talk about is Shane McClanahan. That was his second spring outing. The velocity ticked up to 94.3, so that's half a tick up from what he was his first start. He gave up a couple runs, gave up a home run, but by all accounts, he looked pretty solid. What'd you think, Ethan?
Yeah, I mean, 7 whiffs, 66% strikes, 44% chase. I don't believe it was that high in his spring debut, but the fact that he's getting some chases out of the zone, a 30% whiff rate on the day, changeup looked money. I thought the first time around, just watching him in person, like the changeup was still looking sharp. I think against Detroit, it looked maybe 80% of what we were seeing when he was healthy on the mound in the regular season. So, working the fastball, working the changeup, had, I think, 10 sliders and 3 curveballs. And yeah, changeup and slider graded out very well. So it's just nice to see him back on a mound. And I think some of the stuff was a little bit better than what we saw in the debut.
Yep, it's going to be interesting to see how he continues progressing this spring. Another lefty we're going to talk about, Cam Boozer. He just threw his 5th scoreless inning yesterday. The cutter and changeup usage is way up. That's something that I was interested to see how they would tweak his usage a little bit. He threw a lot more sweepers with the Red Sox and other teams. Now he's going heavy changeup and cutter. So what are your thoughts on that, Ethan?
Yeah, I just want to credit you, Jake, for honestly bringing him up when we were planning the episode, right? I think we've talked about every single player during spring except Cam. 5 scoreless innings to start spring. Last year, sweeper was nasty. A 4-run value, 40% whiff rate. He actually implemented a changeup as well that he didn't have in 2024. And the windup is really deceptive. I feel like people aren't really talking about that. Really weird look for lefties, especially like he's standing to the first base side. So you're throwing that nasty sweeper already almost on the first base side of the rubber. Really weird angles. And even against Detroit, 50% chase rate, 37% whiff rate. I mean, 50% chase on 13 pitches. Like that just speaks to how nasty this stuff is. Fastball graded well. Was getting like 17 inches of carry for IVB. I like what we've seen from him so far, especially just the deceptiveness, the sweeper, and just him being able to fill up the zone early in spring.
100%. He's going to be a name to watch in that bullpen for sure. The next game we're going to talk about is the Braves game. That was Sunday, I believe. You were there again. We're going to first talk about Ben Williamson. Not a guy known for his power, but boy, did he put a charge in one. 439 feet, 107 off the bat. I think it was to left center. So that was really impressive there.
I was so pissed off. I mean, I got a phone call during the AB as I was recording it, and Ben Williamson hit a ball that cleared the boardwalk in left field. Other than the Matt Wallner one today, which I don't think that was 402 feet, that ball went over the building. Ben Williamson's, like, it might have been farther than basically 440. And also he made a couple nice plays at third base. I know there wasn't, telecast for the game. Made one diving stop and another play to his backhand side. So it was nice to see him put one out of the yard. But I mean, the defense, like I think it was 8 DRS at third base. pretty much everything he's just doing well this spring. We've seen the power, obviously. We've seen the contact skills. We've seen the defense. And I'm kind of growing more on Ben Williamson than I already was when we acquired him from the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, he's also shown pretty solid defense at second and a little bit at short. So that's kind of obviously with Junior. He's not really going to be playing third.
Right.
So having him as that super utility infielder. I only really think if Carson makes the opening day roster, it's just going to be between him and Wall. So can't wait to see who makes a team out of camp there for sure. Next guy will be Jake Fraley. We already talked about him a little bit, but I mean, you can't not talk about him.
No, I mean, yeah.
Reach base all 3 times, like Ethan said earlier, consistently veteran at bats. And the quality of contact, obviously, it's not great, but he pulls the ball so much in the air that he could run into 15 to 20 home runs if he has a 120 to 130 game season. So, yeah, just really quality at bats. Solid, strong side platoon guy for sure.
No, I agree, and I love that you mentioned, he's not going to bang the ball around the yard in terms of the quality of contact, but if he's able to have that pull air percentage, increase that fly ball rate like we saw last season, I mean, he's raking in spring, and hopefully he carries that into the regular season.
Absolutely. Another guy we're going to be talking about, younger prospect here, Braden Taylor, coming off of a disappointing season last year, but he's having a really strong spring. Hit 108 exit velocity home run to center field. I know you got that one on video. That was really impressive. He's got a lot of power at second base.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was when him and Carson were really good. They were the only 2 players. I think it was like a WRC plus certain threshold in 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases. They were the only 2 prospects in baseball to be doing that. Braden Taylor from the end of last year through the Arizona Fall League entering spring training, I think he just looks a lot better, right? Like, I don't think the swing is as long. He's calmer in the box. Everything's just compact, flowing through the zone. And yeah, 107.4, 414 feet. Absolutely spanked the ball. Like, out of any ball that was hit that day, just the sound off the bat was spectacular. So it was really nice to see when you just go up there and just smoke a baseball.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the athleticism he possesses, obviously the power at second base. Him and Carson Williams, they have a chance to be a pretty solid young duo in the future for sure. Next guy we're going to talk about, last guy from that game, Hunter Biggie. Just been nice to see his velocity creeping back up. I know you talked about it before the pod. Sitting 97. Obviously, he's added that splitter. I think he got a whiff and a strikeout on that pitch too. So yeah, it's been really, really cool to see him come back from another brain injury from a Rays player.
Yeah, I mean, good shout again. I mean, Hunter Biggie hit 97 3 times. The changeup splitter, whatever you want to. I mean, dude, it is downright filthy, dude. Like, we know the arm talent. We've talked about it. I think this is the 4th episode in a row we've talked about the arm talent of Hunter Biggie. But if he could just stay healthy, having his good mindset, going, showing up to the ballpark every single day and just getting mentally prepared to go in there and just shut the door wherever he's going to be thrown into a certain situation or a certain inning. But yeah, the fact that the velocity is up and the off-speed pitch looks very, very good.
Yep. So that was the Sunday game against the Braves. We're going to be talking about the Saturday game against the Red Sox. First guy I want to talk about, Ty Johnson. I know you and I are both really high on him. He had 8 out of 10 whiffs on the slider. Just an absolutely filthy pitch. And these were a lot of Red Sox regulars too, so it wasn't just like minor league prospects or anything. He was getting some ugly swings. So what are your thoughts on him?
No, Jake, I love that you mentioned that it was against like mostly the A guys, right? Like, I mean, we'll see in spring, especially with the WBC stuff. I mean, the Braves game that I went to and even the game today, the lineups were, frankly, for the other team, not good. But the fact that he was able to go out there against a good lineup, 80% whiff rate on the slider, like you said, 8 out of 10. Got some fastball whiffs and 11 whiffs overall on the day, 3 Ks. This stuff looks good, right? I think this is a guy that is still one of the better pitching prospects in the system. I think a lot of people are kind of buying the helium a little bit, especially what he did last season. But I mean, the 3 of Ty Johnson, Brody Hopkins, and TJ Nichols are going to be a mainstay in the Rays org. It was nice to see him go and deliver, like you said, your point, against pretty much the A lineup of the Boston Red Sox minus a few guys.
100%. Another prospect from that game that had an impressive at-bat was Dominic Keegan, 107 right to dead center against Chapman. I think the wind might have knocked it down a little bit. Christian Campbell made a nice over-the-shoulder catch, but seeing him do that against just a really dominant lefty, I mean, Chapman's throwing triple digits. Like, that guy's an absolute cyborg. But, yeah, that was really interesting to see for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we know. I mean, the absolute freak. Aroldis Chapman is just, I don't even know how he's doing it. He's going to be 40-plus years old and still averaging like 99 on the fastball. But, yeah, I mean, I haven't seen like we mentioned all the time. You're not looking at the results as much. If you see the process and even some of those hard hit outs, that's very encouraging, especially against Aroldis Chapman. And I know we already kind of talked about him too, but Carson Williams, 2 hard hit baseballs, a single. Granted this was a ground ball, but 110.2 mile an hour EV. I know we just talked about it, but Jake, like, what have you seen from Carson Williams that is just impressing you so far?
I mean, just the approach seems a little different. I don't think, like you said, he's not chasing as much. He's not whiffing as much in zone and out of the zone, which obviously not chasing less will help with that. But yeah,
right.
Just using the whole field too. Like you just brought the 2 hard hit balls. They were both to the opposite field. 110. He had a 1-9 double to the left field line against Fromber yesterday. So yeah, I mean, I've been so impressed with him. And then seeing the defense get cleaned up here a little bit lately, man. I just can't wait to see how he does this season for sure.
I love the defensive point because, frankly, at the start there were a few that were just so uncharacteristic. Right, this is a Gold Glove caliber shortstop. I think he's already won a Gold Glove in the minors. Was rated as arguably the best defender. So it's nice to see him. Yeah, to your point, cleaning up the plate discipline like we've talked about, but also showing that defense that has made him a touted prospect in the Rays system and overall in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, if he keeps this up, I don't think you can justify leaving him off the opening day roster. Like, I just don't think you can. Obviously, I think with his defense, with his speed, with his power, I think the floor is higher than most people think. And then we know how high the ceiling is. I mean, just the speed-power combination, for sure. So, yeah, that'll be the last guy we talked about in that Red Sox game. Next game was the Yankees game. That was a Friday night game. Really weird game. Not a lot of offense for both teams. Rays got shut out that game, actually, but we're going to talk about 2 pitchers on the bubble here that pitched pretty well. First guy we're going to talk about is Joe Boyle. He showcased his new sweeper. He had 13 whiffs, 5 strikeouts in 3 innings. Still some command issues like he always has, but just pretty solid outing for him.
Yeah, I mean, 37% whiff rate, 60% strikes. You like to see that improve. 45 zone rate. Like, Joe Boyle, please just throw the ball in the zone. This stuff is insane. We were talking about it before we started recording. Joe Boyle already has one of the best sweepers in baseball. It is insane. He was averaging 2,500 RPMs, 15 inches of horizontal break, throwing at 85 miles an hour, 40% whiff rate on the day against the Yankees, 42% chase. Fastball, I know we've kind of talked about it. Like, just because of the velocity, it's still going to be a good pitch. But the slider, the sweeper, the splitter, like, just please throw them in the zone. Like, this is, I mean, we talk about Brody Hopkins all the time. Like, this is still one of the higher upside young arms that is going to be, potentially getting some decent amount of innings in Major League Baseball this year.
100%. Another young arm we're going to be talking about. In my opinion, I think he secured a roster spot. Ian Seymour, 3 1/3 perfect innings, 5 strikeouts, 11 whiffs, and these were against basically the whole Yankees lineup, non-Aaron Judge. So this is good competition. 11 whiffs, like I said. I think he had 8 or 9 on the changeup. Changeup is absolutely filthy. Obviously, he's got the fastball at the top of the zone. He's got the cutter, sweeper he uses against lefties. I mean, this is just, in my opinion, this might be the 5th best starter on the roster. I know he's not going to be a starter bearing injury, but I think he deserves a spot in the bullpen for sure.
Jake, I think every episode, man, you fire me up. I don't think I've gotten more fired up than when you just talked about Ian Seymour right there. You mentioned the changeup. He was throwing the changeup. I mean, usually you're not going to see a high zone rate, right? You're going to see a lot of chases out of the zone. You don't want it in the zone too much. He was throwing it almost 60% in the zone with an 82% whiff rate. Dude, the changeup is so good. And, like, granted, the stuff isn't going to be like Joe Boyle or just some of the other guys, in the system and at the MLB level. The command is so good. Like, the changeup command in general is fantastic. Got some chases and he had a 50% whiff rate on the 4-seam fastball. Was just absolutely pounding strikes. 56% zone rate, 70% strike rate. Like you mentioned, the 11 whiffs. I mean, Ian Seymour is just, I get impressed almost every single time he takes them out at this point.
Absolutely. And you talked about the stuff. I mean, obviously he only throws 91, 92, but the changeup is so good. It plays so well off of that. And like I said, he's got a sweeper he uses against lefties that's filthy, a cutter that's solid that he could steal strikes with or get weak contact. So yeah, man, Ian Seymour, such an impressive guy. He had an impressive rookie year. I think he's going to be a mainstay in the bullpen. I think he's going to get spot starts for when a guy like Shane McClanahan or Steven Matz need a breather. So yeah, I can't wait to see him in year 2. Next game we're going to talk about is that Orioles game. I think it was Thursday, I believe. Brian Pepio struggled with the command that game. He started, but he still finished with 3 scoreless innings, had 3 strikeouts, 4 walks, but sometimes that happens with Pepio. But if he can get that command going, I mean, I think he's a number 2 starter, a legit one at that.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan Pepio could be an ace on some teams. I mean, the upside is crazy, and especially like we've mentioned, like going back to the Trop, that fastball is just gonna be. I mean, dude, it is gonna just take off at the top of the zone. And like you mentioned, the command wasn't there. Like 4 walks, 49% strike rate, 31% chase rate, or 31% zone rate. Like just very uncharacteristic outing from him. But the fact that he's able to just go in bulldog outings, we saw it so many times last year where, I mean, even if he didn't have feel for the changeup, he was still going out there. Maybe he wasn't getting as much swing and miss, or maybe he just wasn't having his best outing. But the fact that you can go out there and you can compete and put down a lineup, that is what makes a good pitcher. You're not going to have your A game every 5th day, but if you're able to just go and compete, throw strikes, be in the zone, and have some of your stuff work, that's what makes Ryan Pepio special, in my opinion.
I think that might be the best point you've made on this podcast in the last couple of weeks. I mean, he is just such a bulldog. You look up, he has 3-4 walks in like the 2nd or 3rd inning, but he'll just end up with 6 innings, 2 or 3 runs. Like he's a grinder, man. He grinds through stuff, and that's a perfect guy you need from your 2nd or 3rd starter. So yeah, for sure. Another pitcher we're going to be talking about, Yoendrys Gómez in that Orioles game. I mean, this could be one of the sleeper Rays reliever of the year type guy. Sitting mid-90s. The sweeper, like we talked about a couple pods ago, is 20 horizontal break. He's got a changeup and a cutter. The changeup also gets borderline 20 horizontal break. I mean, this is just ridiculous stuff here.
We're going to mention him in the game against Baltimore. We're also going to mention him later in the episode with a few changes that we've seen from game to game. This guy is throwing a sweeper, and I know he had it wasn't this Baltimore game. It was actually, I think, the one last week. He was getting like 23 inches on the sweeper, but he's getting 18 inches, and then he's getting 18 inches of horizontal break on the changeup. Like they're literally moving on opposite sides of the plane. The stuff grades well. The sweeper, like we talked about Joe Boyles, Yoendrys Gómez's sweeper might grade as a top 10 sweeper in baseball. It is absolutely filthy. 50% chase rate, 66% whiff rate in the 2-inning spurt against Baltimore. He's just gross. 4 Ks, got some whiffs, showcased the stuff, and like you talked about, like the Rays know what they're doing with arms. This could be a guy that is like, holy crap, like the Rays have done it again. The stuff is otherworldly.
For sure. And the one thing I will note about that was a 2-inning outing for him. That was his first one of the spring, and the stuff did tail off in that second inning. So that's something to keep an eye on. He might be just best as a 1-inning guy, which what the Rays have, they already have Mason Englert and Ian Seymour. We just talked about guys who can go multiple innings. I think Gómez could be better in that 1-inning role when he's sitting 95, 96 with a 19 IVB fastball. Like, pair that with the sweeper changeup cutter combination, I think he could be really deadly in that. In that 1-inning role for sure. Now that we got those spring games out of the way, we got to talk about what you guys came for, the World Baseball Classic. Junior Caminero, man. I mean, what else can be said about this guy, Ethan?
Dude, I mean, probably had his viral moment, the 111.6 mile an hour home run. I think he got to second base in 15 seconds. From second to home, it was, I think, 30 or 35 seconds, bro. The best thing is when he pauses at third and he just starts whipping his hands up. All the Dominican flags are flying. And I mean, we've talked about it so many times, like, this guy plays for our team. It's not like, I think I would like Junior Caminero almost the same as if he wasn't on my team. He's just such a likable guy, and he's doing this in a world stage. It's just so special, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, the Rays got to get this guy in the playoffs. I mean, he's the most obvious playoff riser I think I've ever seen. Like, you could just see his heart rate slow down in the big moment. Like, when he hit that home run in that first game, that you just kind of knew it was happening. Like,
yeah,
111 to dead center. Not a lot of guys have done that in that Miami Park. Maybe Giancarlo Stanton and a couple others. Like, just impressive raw talent. And we actually saw him play third base a couple days ago, which is good to see, because obviously with Manny Machado, he's going to play a lot of third base, so Junior's been at DH a lot, but just seeing him get active at third base too, man, it's been awesome to see for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even the Netherlands game, I think I was at the Braves game, and I saw your tweet that he got drilled in the elbow. I'm like, oh my gosh, like everyone's been kind of banged up in spring. I know that there's guys still dealing with stuff, so I'm like, dude, there's no way. He gets up the line, looks like he's hurt. He almost drops everything, fires up the crowd. The flags are flying. I don't know if it was the next at bat. I think it was the next at bat. A 115.8 mile an hour home run, 424 feet. Dude, it's storybook at this point.
And
It
the
gets
crazy thing is, like, I think we're seeing in live time. We saw the 118.5 exit velocity hit that he had in the exhibition games. I really think I somehow, and maybe you, underestimated his ceiling a little bit. I don't know if he was ever going to get to 118.5. I don't want to put a cap on his ceiling, but it's like every day we see this guy do something new, whether it's with the glove, with the bat. He gets hit in the elbow. I thought he was seriously hurt. Like, you could hear the sound of it, and then he was up the line and firing up the crowd. Like, he's just so electric, man.
Yeah, I mean, thank God for Evo Shield. Thank you, dear God, for Evo Shield. And like you mentioned, the ceiling thing. I think I know we even said it in spaces, and we were like very, very high on him before the season, but almost every ball is leaving the bat at 110 miles an hour. I don't care if some of these guys are minor leaguers. I don't care if it's Joe Schmo on the side of the road. It doesn't matter. The fact that he is doing this, like, what other guy in the WBC right now is hitting the ball as hard as Junior Caminero? And they're facing, yeah. I mean, it's insane. It's ridiculous.
Like, honestly, there might be Ohtani. I don't even know if I'd put Vlad there anymore. Like, as far as just straight raw power and just exit velocity numbers, I think it's only Ohtani. I'd say Aaron Judge is second, maybe.
I'd say yeah, those four with Vladdy. And then
that's really about it.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
And it's like, honestly, I kind of think he's starting to slap Vladdy a little bit as far as just raw power. Like, he hit 45 home runs in his first season. Vladdy, I think, only hit 20 something last year. So, like, yeah, it's crazy. Dude. I can't wait to see what he does in year 2 and his second full season for sure.
I will say before we move on to the next guy, Junior Caminero might have had the most aura moment of the WBC, going up to the reporter that said he shouldn't have been on the team. Didn't even bother talking to him. Just walked away.
You gotta love it. I mean, a guy's talking shit to somebody. Like, if you're gonna be in his face, who's gonna say why not just walk away? I mean, seriously. So I honestly thought that was mature. Just don't even get into it with him. Walk away. That's really all you can do, really, for sure. So the next guy we're gonna talk about, Jonathan Aranda, probably the second best Rays player, honestly, second best hitter on the team. Just watching his at bats throughout this past weekend and throughout the WBC so far is special. He had that opposite field home run, was a game winner. It's just special stuff, man.
Yeah, I think our third episode, we harped the entire time when talking about Jonathan Aranda, the ability to go the other way. Oh, he just casually deposits one the opposite way into the Crawford boxes. And you could argue he was as fired up as Junior Caminero when he was rounding the bases. Like, other than that one walk-off, I think against the Yankees, that was probably the most amped up I've ever seen the guy.
I agree with you. And honestly, seeing these guys get this hyped up and this already locked in already, I just can't wait to see like how they're going to just push that into the season. Because, I mean, we obviously know how good they were last year, but I still think there's another leap both of them can take. So I can't wait, man, for sure.
Yeah, and I think I like the point you mentioned about Junior in the playoffs, and I think you can say the same about Jonathan Aranda and some of these other hype guys on the team. We haven't been in the playoffs for a few years now. I think everyone listening or watching on YouTube knows, like, you want to get back to that. Imagine those guys it's a passionate stage on the WBC, but when you're playing for a world championship, dude, I mean, we might see Junior Caminero have a minute trot around the bases in the World Series if he's hitting the ball that far and that hard. So yeah, I can't wait to see these guys in the playoffs in the future. It's going to be electric stuff.
100%, man. The Rays also have multiple other players playing in the WBC. First guy we're going to talk about is Gary Gill-Hill for Great Britain. I think Ethan and I weren't really big fans of him coming into this spring in the WBC, but I think he had an eye-opening performance personally. Was sitting 95 with the sinker, also has a four-seamer, and then that sweeper is just filthy. What do you think about him, Ethan?
Yeah, I mean, I think we honestly talked about it on our break, like a two-plane sweeper. He's throwing like a lifty one with like 2 or 3 inches of IVB, and then he's throwing one with -6. Like, that is really nice. He was sitting 93.6 on the sinker, 95.3 on the four-seam, and I know we've mentioned it, like, probably more of a reliever at this point, so like you could see the stuff uptick a little bit. 50% whiff rate on that sweeper, 66% whiff rate on the four-seam fastball. It was just encouraging, right? I think this could be a guy like I just said. I think if he is just ultimately a reliever and the stuff plays better, that could just help his overall profile.
I'm glad you brought that point up because you said 93.6. It was 95 to 96 in that first inning.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second inning, it kind of tailed off a little bit. So I think you're right. I think he might be a reliever long term for sure. Next, another Rays reliever we're going to be talking about, Griffin Jax. He had a big double play in yesterday's game against Mexico with the best two-strike hitter in baseball, Alejandro Kirk. Got him to pound it to shortstop, double play. He was fired up. And then the game before, he had 2 strikeouts. I know you want to talk about that. I mean, the stuff is just outrageous.
Griffin Jax, I don't even know what the ERA was last year. I know the FIP was almost 2 runs lower. It was ridiculous. This guy is a full-blown command demon, stuffed demon reliever with a starter's arsenal. Like, there were thoughts that Griffin Jax was going to like be in the rotation this year. Dude, he is throwing 97 miles an hour with one of the most ridiculous sweepers that you will see, and they're using the cutter more. His cutter was almost grading as his best pitch. We talked about Ryan Pepio at the Trop. We've seen Griffin Jax at the Trop in a Twins uniform. Dude, he's gonna put up a absolutely monster year. Like, not even a hot take. Griffin Jax is a top 10 reliever in baseball. At worst, top 15. He's insanely good with good command, great arsenal, and just executes on almost every single level at this point.
And it's crazy. You said top 10, top 15. The Rays might have 2 of them. Another guy who pitched for Team USA, Garrett Clevenger, yesterday. Just kind of another day in the office for him. Clean inning. Bobby Witt saved him a little bit on that diving play. First off, let me just say, Bobby Witt Jr. is a superstar. Like, he had 2 basically identical plays, backhand diving in the hole, strong throw. Phenomenal stuff from Witt. But back to Clevenger, just a classic Clevenger performance. Used that mid-90s sinker, the sweeper, the slider combination, just filthy. What are your thoughts on him, Ethan?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was probably the best transition you've had. That was fantastic. Going from a top 10 guy to, you could say, I mean, certainly last year was probably a top 10 reliever. The stuff is just absolutely gross. Like, the fact that you're going to have Garrett Clevenger, Griffin Jax, and just some of these other nasty arms, potentially Joe Boyle or whoever else in the pen. Just 1, 2, 3. Edwin Uceta when he comes back. It's just nasty stuff. And it's just nice that all these guys are producing at the big stage. Like, which guy in the WBC on the Rays has performed poorly? I honestly, I can't even think of one. Even Owen Wild had showcased some pretty good stuff with the high ride fastball. So it's just nice to see.
We didn't have him on the docket for talking about WBC. I do want to talk about him because he's been the kind of a guy that's flown under the radar, hasn't really had great numbers in the minors. But when he stepped on that WBC stage, I know he gave up, I think, 2 runs in 2 or 3 innings, but that fastball was mid-90s with almost 20 inches of carry.
Yeah.
Like, that was impressive stuff for sure, too, there.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, I mean, we know what we're getting with Garrett Clevenger. Just an absolute beast. Like, if you're a lefty going up against him, walk back to the dugout, you're not touching him. But the fact that you're seeing all these guys at the major league level and all the guys in the org, like all the minor league guys, it's so encouraging as a team and as an overall organization that these guys are delivering right now.
100%. The last guy we're going to talk about, we just talked about him a few minutes ago, Yoendrys Gómez. He was absolutely disgusting, and he started a game for Venezuela through 2 innings, had 3 strikeouts, was sitting mid-90s again like he's been doing all spring, which is like a tick and a half up of what he has in his major league career. Just really impressive stuff from Gómez. Yeah,
he was sitting 95 on the sinker. And I'm just going to stress this too. Like, right, he had 2 scoreless innings with 3 Ks. He was throwing 75% strikes, right? Like that could be whiffs, that could be called strikes. He was in the zone less than 30% of the time. So every single pitch, he had 3 sinkers, 100% chase rate, 6 cutters, 66% chase rate. He had a 62% chase rate on his fastball, but a 71% whiff rate. This guy is absolutely insane. And I know we talked about the 18 inches of arm side or glove side on the sweeper. He had less this outing in the WBC. He was throwing it a little bit harder, so you could see him throw maybe 82 or 81 to 82 on that sweeper, stretched out to 20 to 21 inches of horizontal break, and then when he's throwing at 83, he's getting like 15 to 16. So this is a guy, we talked about Gary Gilhill morphing that sweeper shape. You could say the same thing about Yoendrys Gómez. He is just an absolute beast from what we've seen so far in the spring and the WBC.
Absolutely, man. Just overall, it's been just so encouraging. Like you said, it's a great word. Just an encouraging, just overall WBC performance from all the Rays, whether it's the established big leaders or minor league guys. So that'll wrap it up for this episode. We really appreciate all you guys' support. We're gonna have, like we said, the prospect video dropping soon. We're gonna have 2 of those dropping, so we can't wait, man. Anything else, Ethan?
I think just one really quick thing. I think everyone underestimated the DR. I mean, I know I had them as probably the best team going into the tournament, but dude, like this offense is, I've never seen anything like it. It's truly, you could say, historic at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just 1 through 9, absolutely loaded. You have Julio Rodriguez hitting 7th, Junior hitting 6th. Junior might be the best hitter on the team right now. You got Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, just an absolutely loaded group, man. So yeah, I made a tweet the other day. I think I have to retract my statement about the U.S. having the best lineup. I think it's got to be DR at this rate. So yeah, it's just absolutely dominant lineup for sure, man.
Yeah, I love I mean, Julio Rodriguez is hitting 7th. To be honest, I didn't even know that. It's just sickening, dude. Like a 7-win player basically hitting 7th on your baseball team. It's
and another 6 or 7 win player, Perdomo, hitting 8th.
Yeah, no,
8th or 9th. Like,
dude, even Austin Wells joined the party. I think even Juan Soto said after the home run, like I think he's Dominican now. Like it's so encouraging from that team. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to watch see how the rest of the tournament unfolds. Well, thank you guys for watching. We're going to be back soon in a couple of days, and we can't wait to talk more baseball with you guys. Thanks.